Well, I know I said in the last video I was finishing up, but I guess there's one more. Wanted to do a couple of examples. So this first one is from your textbook, question number 14. Quality control. Production managers on an assembly line must monitor the output to be sure that the level of defective products remains small. They periodically inspect a random sample of the items produced. If they find a significant increase in the proportion of items that must be rejected, they will halt the assembly process until the problem can be identified and repaired. In this context, what is a type 1 error? Now, I find it helpful, even though I'm not told that I have to write out my hypotheses, I find it helpful to actually do that. So I would start by thinking about what would my null hypotheses be. So I would have some proportion, and I don't have any values or anything, but I would have some hypothesized value, and I would be saying that the proportion hasn't changed. So the proportion of defective products hasn't changed. And my alternative would be that it's greater because we want to see if it's increased. So increased. And again, I would have more detail if I were actually doing a test or anything, but I'm just using that now to help me identify a type 1 error. So a type 1 error, remember what that means. H naught is true but we reject. All right, now that obviously is no context. So in this situation, H naught is true means that the proportion of defective products hasn't changed, but we think there are more defectives. So what would we do? So we stop production and repair the problem. So this is bad because you're going to have a loss of revenue while things are shut down. So when you halt production, you have a loss of revenue. You've spent time and money repairing a problem that doesn't exist. So that would be a type 1 error. A type 2 error remember, that means that H naught is false, but we fail to reject it. So H naught is false, and if you need to go back up and look, so H naught is false, so we find that it has increased. So there are more defectives. There are more defective product, but we don't catch it. So we distribute and sell defective items. So what are some results of that? Recalls, lawsuits, loss of public respect. So those are all things that can happen if you're putting out defective products out on the marketplace. and those are costly. So in these situations, now again, you might want to look and see which is a more serious error,